This week in cybersecurity, AI is coming for your medical records. North Korean hackers are posing as recruiters to infect developers. Cisco and Fortinet 0 days are being actively exploited, and an AI-built Linux malware just raised the bar for cyber warfare. We're also covering LastPass phishing powered by AI, botnets infecting millions of devices, cloud breaches caused by insecure training apps, 0 days in cars at Pwn to Own, and critical RCE flaws are hitting Zoom, GitLab, Smarter Mail, Microsoft, Anthropic, and more. If you thought attackers were moving fast before, they're now scaling with AI automation and nation-state precision. Let's break down the biggest cyber threats of the week, what happened, how the attacks work, and what actually matters. Welcome to Threatopia. Let's break it down. Real cyber attacks, why they work, and how to reduce risk. This is the latest cyber news summarized using MITRE ATT&CK and security fundamentals. I'm your host, Mike Kramer, with 20 plus years of hands-on experience helping organizations stay ahead of real attacks. Make sure to watch to the end to find out why you should get rid of that unofficial sus Android TV streaming box that you bought. Upcoming events are, of course, the RSA 2026 conference that will take place March 23rd to March 26th at the Moscone Center in San Francisco, California. There's also SANS 26, March 29th through April 3rd in Orlando, Florida at the Hyatt Regency. That's the full SANS curriculum under one roof with over 50 courses and a new AI security training. Security tip of the show is Apple iPhone users, stop your battery draining and data leaking from your phone. Turn off the feature sending all of your data to Apple by going to Settings, Search, Help Apple Improve Search, and turn that off. You're welcome. 17 stories today. Are you serious? I can't keep doing this. I mean, I might have to do all these daily, just keep up with all these attacks. Oh, take a deep breath. Let's go. Number 1, ChatGPT Health launch sparks major data privacy and security concerns. ChatGPT Health, a new AI-powered health chatbot from OpenAI, raises significant questions about the security and privacy of sensitive health data. While OpenAI promises encryption and strict controls, experts warn that sharing medical records with third parties and unclear regulatory protections could put user information at risk. Users are cautioned to think carefully before entrusting their health data to such platforms. Yeah, agree. Your defense here is that users should limit sharing sensitive health data with third-party apps and ensure that you understand privacy controls before connecting any accounts. Anytime this information is in motion or stored, it's at risk of being breached or misused. Number 2, North Korean hackers use fake job interviews to backdoor developers via VS Code. The contagious interview campaign attributed to North Korean threat actors is using fraudulent job recruitment schemes to trick developers into cloning malicious repositories. When the victim trusts the repository in Visual Studio Code, a hidden backdoor written in JavaScript is executed, enabling remote code execution, or RCE, and data theft on Mac OS systems. The MITRE ATT&CK TTPs here are T1204, user execution, T1566, that's phishing, T1059, command and scripting interpreter, and the defense of recovery here is that developers should carefully vet third-party repositories and review all configuration and install scripts before granting trusts or running code in their development environments. This matters because this attack enables theft of credentials and sensitive information from developers, potentially leading to unauthorized access to high-value systems and projects. Number 3, phishing attackers use AI to target LastPass customers in a sophisticated scam. A phishing campaign is targeting LastPass customers with convincing emails designed to steal their login credentials. The attackers are leveraging large language models to craft credible messages and lure users to phishing sites that mimic legitimate LastPass communications. LastPass has not reported any compromised accounts but urges vigilance. MITRE ATT&CK here would be T1566, which is phishing. Attackers sent deceptive emails to trick users into revealing their credentials. The defense recovery is to enable multi-factor authentication, or MFA, and carefully verify sender addresses and email content before clicking any links or entering credentials. This matters because successful phishing could give attackers access to entire password vaults, leading to widespread compromise of personal and business accounts. Number 4, AI-generated void link malware marks the new era of sophisticated Linux attacks. So this is an update and recap to the story that we covered back on January 13th. Researchers at Checkpoint discovered VoidLink, an advanced link malware framework created almost entirely by AI. The malware features modular components for persistence, evasion, and rapid development, highlighting a significant leap in the use of AI for building original, high-functioning threats. MITRE ATT&CK here would be T1059, that's Command and Scripting Interpreter, as VoidLink uses modular plugins and custom loaders to execute code and maintain persistence. T1068, that's exploitation for privilege escalation, as it often includes rootkits used for privilege escalation on Linux systems. T1027, obfuscated files or information. VoidLink automates evasion by profiling environments and choosing stealthy operation strategies. The defensive recovery here would be to deploy AI-enhanced security solutions to detect and respond to rapidly evolving AI-generated threats targeting Linux environments. This matters because VoidLink demonstrates how AI can enable the rapid creation of sophisticated malware, increasing the risk and complexity of attacks against organizations. Number 5. Insecure training apps expose major security vendors to cloud breaches. Deliberately vulnerable training applications left exposed on the internet have enabled attackers to breach the cloud environments of major security vendors. By exploiting over-permissioned IAM roles attached to these apps, attackers gained administrative access and moved laterally within affected organizations' cloud infrastructures. MITRE ATT&CK here is good old T1078. Valid accounts, as the attackers use stolen cloud credentials obtained from vulnerable apps to access cloud environments. T1071, that's application layer protocol. T1210, exploitation of remote services. Attackers exploited the insecure file upload and RCE vulnerabilities in training apps. And T1563, that's remote service session hijacking. Defense recovery here is to regularly audit and remove insecure training applications from production environments and restrict IAM permissions to the minimum necessary. This matters because these exposures allowed attackers to gain administrative access to critical cloud infrastructure, risking full organizational compromise and misuse of resources. Number 6, Zendesk help desks are abused in a massive spam relay attack. Attackers are leveraging misconfigured Zendesk instances to send mass spam emails that often bypass spam filters, impersonating legitimate companies and agencies. The spam campaigns use relay attacks to abuse help desk systems, aiming to steal credentials or trick users into paying bogus claims. Zendesk has stated there is no evidence of a breach or vulnerability and is implementing new safety features. MITRE ATT&CK here would be T1585, that's compromised infrastructure, as attackers are abusing misconfigured Zendesk instances to send spam from legitimate domains. And T1566, phishing, as spam emails attempt to steal credentials or trick users into financial loss. The defense or recovery here would be to restrict ticket submissions to added users only and remove risky placeholders from automated replies to prevent abuse of help desk systems. This matters because these attacks can lead to credential theft, financial loss, and erosion of trust in legitimate company communications. Number 7, critical bugs in a popular AI chatbot framework expose cloud environments. So researchers at Safran Security disclosed 2 high-severity vulnerabilities in the open-source Chainlit AI chatbot framework, potentially exposing millions of users to data loss and cloud account takeovers. The flaws are listed in 2 different CVEs, 22218 and 22219 from this year, allowed attackers to access arbitrary files on servers and perform server-side request forgery, respectively. MITRE ATT&CK here is T1190, that's exploit public-facing applications, and T1212, the exploitation for credential access, as this flaw can be used to access AWS instance, metadata, and obtain credentials. Your defense or recovery would be to update Chainlit to version 2.9.4 or later and disable IMDS version 1 on AWS EC2 instances to mitigate these vulnerabilities. This matters because these vulnerabilities could lead to data theft, cloud account compromise, and unauthorized access to sensitive systems. Number 8, critical vulnerabilities found in Microsoft and Anthropic AI MCP servers expose cloud environments. So researchers discovered severe vulnerabilities in Microsoft and Anthropic's Model Context Protocol, its MCP servers, including remote code execution or RCE and server-side request forgery, which is SSRF, and these all those related flaws. These issues could allow attackers to gain unauthorized access to cloud resources and execute arbitrary code by chaining multiple vulnerabilities. Over a third of MCP servers on the web may be affected by similar SSRF exposures. The MITRE ATT&CK here would be T1190, exploit public-facing application, and T1210, exploitation of remote services, as the vulnerabilities allowed attackers to access internal resources and cloud metadata services remotely. The defense or recovery here would be to restrict and validate user input on MCP servers, update to the latest server versions, and enforce cloud best practices like using IMDS v2 to prevent SSRF and RCE attacks. This matters because these vulnerabilities could enable attackers to compromise cloud credentials, execute malicious code, and escalate privileges, putting sensitive data and business operations at risk. Number 9, automated attacks target FortiGate firewalls via FortiCloud SSO vulnerabilities. These are some updates to a previously reported story on this channel where Arctic Wolf has identified a new wave of automated attacks exploiting FortiCloud SSO vulnerabilities. That's CVEs from 2025, 59718 and 59719. These are on Fortinet's FortiGate devices. And attackers bypass authentication, create persistent accounts, alter firewall configurations, and exfiltrate config files using malicious SSO logins. The activity is rapid and automated, targeting multiple Fortinet products. MITRE attack here is T1078. Our valid accounts haunts us again. And T1003, credential dumping, as attackers exploited SSO authentication to gain unauthorized access. And then also T1020, automated exfiltration, as these were config files exported automatically to attacker-controlled IPs. Your defense or recovery here would be to disable the admin FortiCloud SSO login setting to prevent exploitation of the SSO vulnerabilities until a patch is available. This matters because these attacks allow unauthorized changes and data theft from critical network devices, which of course will put the organization's security and operations at risk. Number 10, Smarter Mail admin password flaw exploited days after patch. A critical authentication bypass vulnerability in Smarter Mail allowed attackers to reset administrator passwords and gain system-level access via remote code execution. The flaw was actively exploited just 2 days after a patch was released, with attackers leveraging a specially crafted HTTP request to the force reset password endpoint. The vulnerability required knowledge of an admin username and enabled full system compromise. MITRE attack here is T1078, our valid accounts, T1210, exploitation of remote services, T1059, command and scripting interpreter, as attackers could execute arbitrary OS commands for system-level access. The defense or recovery here would be to immediately apply vendor patches and restrict access to admin interfaces while monitoring for unauthorized password resets and command execution activity. This matters because this vulnerability enabled attackers to fully compromise email servers, risking data breaches and total loss of administrative control for organizations. Number 11, Cisco patches critical zero-day exploit in unified CM and WebEx products. Cisco has released urgent patches for a critical zero-day vulnerability that's a CVE from this year 245, so 20045, affecting multiple unified communications products and WebEx calling dedicated instance, which have been actively exploited in the wild. The flaw allows unauthenticated remote attackers to execute arbitrary commands and escalate privileges to root via crafted HTTP requests. The MITRE attack here would be T1190, exploit public-facing application, T1068, that's exploitation for privilege escalation, as it allowed attackers to escalate privileges to root on the affected systems. Your defense or recovery here would be that organizations should immediately apply the provided Cisco patches to all affected systems, as there are no workarounds. This matters because exploitation of this vulnerability could give attackers full control over critical communications infrastructure, leading to great risk. Number 12, North Korean Purple Bravo targets tech firms with fake job interviews and malicious code. So, slight update to our number 2 story today. The North Korean threat group Purple Bravo targeted over 3,000 IP addresses and at least 20 organizations across multiple sectors by luring job seekers into executing malicious code during fake interviews. Attackers used LinkedIn personas and malicious GitHub repositories to deliver malware, compromising corporate devices, and exposing organizations to espionage and financial theft. Number 13, Zoom and GitLab patch critical flaws at RCE, DOS, and 2FA bypass risks all fixed. Zoom and GitLab have released urgent security updates to address critical vulnerabilities, including remote code execution, denial of service, and two-factor authentication bypass flaws. The most severe issue affects Zoom node multimedia routers, allowing meeting participants to potentially execute code remotely, while GitLab patched several vulnerabilities that could allow unauthenticated users to cause denial of service or bypass 2FA protections. Related MITRE attack here is T1190 exploit public-facing applications and T1078 valid accounts, as well as T1499 endpoint denial of service, as multiple GitLab vulnerabilities could allow attackers to create denial of service conditions. Your defense or recovery here would be to promptly update the Zoom node and GitLab deployments to the latest patched versions to mitigate these vulnerabilities. This matters because exploitation of these flaws could allow attackers to disrupt services, gain unauthorized access, or compromise sensitive business operations. Number 14, AI transforms MSSP operations, slashing costs and boosting margins. Not an attack, but an interesting story, and I think we're all seeing it, whereas some people are being laid off and others are reducing staff in the popular and highly in-demand cybersecurity field. But managed security service providers, or MSSPs, are increasingly using AI to automate assessments, reporting, and other manual and repeatable tasks, enabling them to serve more clients with fewer analysts. Early adopters report higher profit margins and faster onboarding by standardizing and scaling their services through AI-driven platforms. Implementing AI-driven automation can help MSSPs efficiently manage workloads and deliver consistent security services without increasing staff. The shift allows MSSPs to provide high-quality, scalable protection to more clients while maintaining profitability and service standards. Number 15, the Kim Wolf botnet infects millions, targets corporate and government networks. This is from Krebs on Security. The Kim Wolf botnet has infected over 2 million IoT devices, including many unofficial Android TV streaming boxes, and is actively used for DDoS attacks and relaying malicious traffic. It spreads by exploiting residential proxy services, allowing attackers to scan and compromise devices on local networks, including those in corporate and government environments. Despite some mitigation efforts, Kim Wolf remains widespread and poses a significant threat to organizations globally. MITRE attack here would be T1071 application layer protocol, where Kim Wolf uses residential proxy services to relay malicious commands and traffic. T1210 exploitation of remote services, as the botnet scans and infects other vulnerability devices on local networks, such as Jim's house. And T1566 phishing, Kim Wolf spreads by tricking users into installing malware bundled with apps and games. The defense recovery here would be that organizations should segment networks, block unnecessary outbound proxy traffic, and ensure all IoT devices are secured and regularly updated to prevent lateral movement and infection. Why it matters: Kim Wolf's presence in sensitive networks like government, healthcare, and finance increases the risk of large-scale disruptions and unauthorized access to critical systems. Number 16, Microsoft adds AI upgrades to Notepad and Paint for Windows 11 insiders that no one wanted. Microsoft has released new AI-powered features for Notepad and Paint apps to Windows 11 insiders, including faster AI-generated writing tools and a coloring book feature in Paint. Access to these features require users to sign in with their Microsoft accounts, and users can disable or install the AI features if desired. Well, that's good. Users concerned about AI features or privacy can disable the new tools and settings or uninstall the updated apps. Introducing these AI features that require account authentication may raise privacy or security considerations for users and organizations. I'm going to make a quick note here. I think a lot of people use Notepad especially, but other tools too, text-based, to specifically strip formatting and weird characters and all sorts of other stuff, fonts and whatever, from text, and be able to quickly paste that somewhere else. And it's been very quick and easy to do that, and it's a quick application. My thoughts on this is that Microsoft should either add this to Word only, or like a Word Lite, something like that, where you know it's kind of bloated and has formatting and other things. Keep Notepad clean, fast, and a good place where people can just paste text to strip out fonts and not have all this garbage and still be very quick. That's just my thoughts. I think I'm probably not alone in that. So maybe if Microsoft's listening, just my 2 cents. Number 17, security researchers exposed 29 zero days in automotive tech at Pwn to Own. At the Pwn to Own Automotive 2026 contest, security researchers exploited 29 unique zero-day vulnerabilities in various automotive technologies, including EV chargers and infotainment systems. Participants demonstrated their findings on fully patched devices, earning significant cash awards for their successful exploits. MITRE attacks here that are related are T1200, that's hardware additions, as researchers used USB-backed attacks to exploit vulnerabilities in automotive infotainment systems, and T1068 exploitation for privilege escalation, as several exploits resulted in obtaining root permissions on targeted devices. Automotive technology vendors should promptly apply security patches released in response to reported zero-day vulnerabilities. These vulnerabilities, if left unpatched, could allow attackers to compromise critical automotive systems, posing safety and security risks to users and manufacturers. If you like this episode, please rate this podcast 5 stars, or if watching on YouTube, like the video. It really helps support the show. Thanks for listening. See you next time, and stay safe out there. I kept sneezing there. Not even allergy season. Are we still live? Oh.